everybody. Today we're going to be making a sesame slaw with, it's a little different than your typical coleslaw. It's got a lot of different veggies in it and a little bit different flavor to it. So we're going to be making a cashew cream sauce in lieu of mayo to go on it that has a little bit of soy sauce, well, tamari in it, it's gluten-free, and what else? There's cashews and a little bit of sesame oil in there. Add just a little bit different flavor to it. So really delicious, really good. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make our cashew sauce to go over the slaw. And so in my blender I have some cashews, a little bit of sesame oil, some water, and I think that's it. And so we'll blend this on the blender. And if you don't have a high-powered blender like a Vitamix, you will want to soak your cashews in boiling water for about 15 minutes before you blend it. And so, or you can also just soak them in water like overnight. Either one of those works. But if you don't have the forethought to soak them overnight, you can just boil them and do the same thing. That makes them a little easier to blend. And so I'm going to stick them on the blender. We're going to have to scrape it down a couple times in between to get the debris off the side, but we're looking for a nice smooth sauce. Okay, we have a nice smooth sauce here. It's really, it's like a liquid. It took maybe about 1 to 2 minutes to blend this in my Vitamix. If you just have a regular non-high powered blender, it might take you up to 5 minutes to get a nice smooth sauce. Just be patient with it. You just don't want little chunks of cashews in there. So I'm going to set this aside for now, and we'll work on the vegetables. And so we'll start with the cabbage. And so this will take, well, this was a pretty small head of cabbage. I think this will probably be enough, about 3 cups of cabbage. Just eyeball it. It's fine. So I cut this cabbage in half, and then you'll see that there's a core here that needs to be cut out. And so I'm just going to take my knife and just cut right around that core. And it should just pop right out, okay? So you can just throw that aside. What we're gonna do next is just very thinly chop this, okay? You want nice thin pieces for your coleslaw, so just slice it as thin as you're able to. You could also do this in a food processor if you wanted to, with a shredding blade. So either one is fine. I really enjoy chopping things by hand, so that's why I do it that way. Okay, so I've chopped my cabbage. I'm just going to give it a little chop crosswise as well to make these pieces a little smaller and easier to chew. So just get them small. Okay, then I have this bowl here that I'm going to be putting the ingredients in. So I'll add the cabbage to that bowl. There. Okay, and set that aside for now. So the next thing we're going to add to this is some cucumbers. So this is a great way to use up those cucumbers that you have in the garden or that are just abundantly everywhere, especially in the summertime. And so we want this pretty small. We don't want huge chunks of it to kind of match the size of the cabbage a little bit. And so I went ahead and I just already cut off the ends of this cucumber because you don't really need to eat those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half down the middle. So I have these 2 halves. What I'm going to do is cut those in half as well. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and kind of really thinly chop these. Maybe, I don't know, what is this, like 1/4 of an inch maybe? And I'll do that with both halves. All right, we have our cucumbers here. I'll go ahead and add that to our bowl with our cabbage. All right, next we're gonna add some red bell pepper to this. You could use any color. You could orange or yellow or green, whatever. I just chose red. I think it's colorful. It adds some nice color to it. So I'm gonna show you a really easy way to get the seeds out of the pepper without having to deal with them afterwards all over the place. So I like to just take and run along the side. And you'll see the peppers stay in there, or the seeds stay in there. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And last one, and then you can cut the bottom off. And there we have the whole core right there. You just chuck it, okay? So there you go. You don't have to deal with seeds all over the place. Drives me crazy. Okay, now we're just gonna kind of chop this into smaller pieces that kind of match the cabbage and the cucumber. Just, you know, really easy size pieces to fit in your mouth. And so I'm gonna take these and just kind of cut them into strips. Sometimes you gotta use a little force with peppers to make sure you get cut all the way through the skin. So I have these strips here, and I'm gonna just turn it and cut it like this so I can really easily get some nice size pieces. So I'm gonna do that with the rest of this. All right, we have our peppers cut up. I'm just gonna add them to the bowl with our cucumbers and our cabbage. Oh, this is getting colorful. It's so pretty. Set that aside. Next thing, the last veggie we need to prepare is carrots. So I'm going to just go ahead and grate these. You could also do this in a food processor or with a grating blade, or really even just kind of really finely dice them by hand if you want. Just watch your fingers when you get to the end. I've cut myself on these before. Okay. Just quickly do that with, and save the ends of your carrots. You can throw them in and make vegetable broth out of them and stuff. So you don't need to throw them away. I keep a bowl full of scraps that I use to make veggie broth with. So you can have no waste if you want. You can use all the vegetables. Okay, so there we go. Have my carrots. I'm gonna throw them in with the rest of this. Oh, it's like a rainbow in here. It's so pretty. I'm gonna get some of the, there we go. Get some of the green out of, or the purple out of there from the cabbage. Look at this, you guys. It's so pretty. What a fun slaw. Okay. So we've prepped our veggies. Next, we're gonna add the sauce to it. All right, so the next thing we're gonna wanna do is just toss the salad together. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this dressing that we made earlier on here, and I'm gonna pour it all on. There's quite a bit of veggies here, so I think we'll use it all. It's up to you though. If you don't like a lot of dressing, go ahead and start small. Just do a little bit at first, okay? And then we're just gonna toss this together. Give it a stir. Make sure that dressing is coating all the veggies. And this is like a rainbow in a bowl. It's so pretty. I love this salad. Okay, and this is such a great way to use so many different veggies that we have in the summertime. You could get really creative with this. Use whatever veggies you want, okay? Just make sure they're similar sizes and shapes. Okay, so this is all mixed together. It's looking really gorgeous, really pretty. I like to top this, and this is optional. I like to top it with just a little bit of sesame seeds. I think it adds, makes it look pretty, and you can toast them if you want. It's up to you. And then to add just like a little kind of touch of like sea flavor, like not fish, but I like to add a little bit of seaweed to this. And you can use nori. You can buy nori sheets in the grocery store, but they can be kind of expensive. So if you have nori around, go ahead and use it. Otherwise, I just pick up a package of these like seaweed snacks and use them on there. And so I just open them up, because this is like $1 versus like $7 or $8 for nori. So what I do is I just take them and I just crumble them on top. So it just adds a little bit of flavor, adds a little bit of color, and I think it's really, really delicious. So there you go. I hope you enjoy the salad. It's a real favorite of mine. So good luck. Enjoy. Bye.